Hi, I'm Dr. Bodzioch from Atlantic Chiropractic in Stoneham, Mass, your posture doctor. And obviously it's St. Patty's Day, so we had to bring a little St. Patty's in. So we got our little guy here. So today we're going to talk about a proactive check on a incident that happened on the ice from a local player that we got the video from, and we're just going to break it down for you in regards to what's going on and where that player should have been, at least mentally, when he got checked into the boards. As you can see, this is a game going on here. So this is where the action is going to take place, in this side of the board in the lower corner of the ring. So we're going to rewind this and bring it back. Okay, we're going to start it again, and we're going to bring it to where the hit occurred. Okay, but first, game action consciousness. Okay, for you hockey players, obviously when you go out on the ice and it's game action, you got to be aware consciously of what's going on, right? So the speed of the game, the size of your opponents, where you are in regards to the ring, where the puck is, and you going after that puck, and who's around you when you go after that puck as a consequence to that. Okay? So, again, sports, hockey, whether it be football, as much a mental game as it is a physical game, right? So one has to be consciously aware of what's going around him at all periods of time, okay? And that peripheral view is even so much more important with physical contact games such as football and hockey, right? So that you learn to develop that peripheral vision. So even though your head's on and your eyes are on that puck, you can visualize and kind of intuitively know who's on the right side, who's on the left side, and where you are as far as you skating down the actual ice, where the boards are, where the net is, and getting that peripheral vision. Okay? So again, so important to be in the game, whether you have the puck or you don't have the puck, whether somebody's checking you or not checking you, just to be mentally into the game every second of every minute of that game as a consequence to that. Okay? Obviously, besides timeouts and when players are switching in and out off the actual lines, right? But again, awareness is so very important. All right, so you're going to see this player skates down with the actual puck into the corner of the boards here, corner of the ice. This guy is just a little bit bigger as far as mass-wise. Is basically going to hunt him down into this corner. Okay? Here's the point, right? When he's bringing this puck down, he's not really aware of this guy coming down, basically closing down the corner of this ring. Okay? Consequently, he's almost blindsided. Okay? When he gets blindsided, okay, and this guy is a good-sized boy, right? Gets underneath his thoracic cage or his chest here, and literally picks him up and throws him into the actual boards and into the actual glass. So this individual with the ice who's going to get checked, his head is actually going to flip. He's actually going to go into a whiplash motion. Okay, and you watch his head goes back and his head goes forward. So let's watch this. So he's so at the point of impact, he's kicking around the puck underneath him, and pretty much his full attention is on that puck while this guy is basically ready to lay him out. Okay? Now he gets hit here, right? And actually a pretty good distance from the boards. But the impact of that hit and the speed of this mass of this player pretty much cleans this guy right up, literally lifts him up and throws him into the actual boards and into the ice. So let's watch that. Okay? Did you catch that? So he literally, the mass, this guy was so big that the mass of the other player got picked up and tossed into the boards. So he literally, his head went back and his head went forward. He went through almost a full whipping motion of that neck. So let's watch that. Let's go through that again. Okay, so here he is. He's got the puck. Okay, he's going to move into the boards. He's going to come down into the corner. This guy's essentially tracking him down. He's going to hit him about probably 2 feet away from the actual boards. And this guy is so big that he's literally going to get into his sternum, into his mid-thoracics, and pick him up and literally toss him into the boards. Right? So let's take a look at that again. So there's almost point of impact. Picks him up. Boom. Right? He literally picks him up. He gets underneath his sternum into his mid-thoracic, lifts that guy up, and throws him into his boards. And if you look at the finish of this, okay, he's actually going, his cage is going, his whole mid-thoracic, his upper body is literally going back, and his head goes off the boards, and actually his head goes into the glass literally, and then he comes back forward. One more time. So point of impact, picks him up. Now see how his head's going back. So he's wide open. Basically, he was wide open. He was blindsided. He wasn't even aware of that hit, right? So he gets blindsided. His whole mass is going back. Okay. He actually literally lands. His head lands into the glass. His thoracic cage or his mid-torso goes into the glass. And then he basically bounces off the glass and then comes back down. Boom. Okay? So his head's actually back. He doesn't even, he gets a little whipping motion with a forward flexion, but he goes right back into the glass and comes down. Okay? So, again, right? Control, control, control. Awareness, awareness, awareness. Okay? First of all, when you, the player, are aware that you're losing your balance on your skates, the first thing you should do is bring your head back. Okay? Because number one, you don't know if you're going into the ice. Number two, you don't know if you're falling back. Number three, you don't know if you're going into the boards. Okay? Remember what we said, right? Where the head goes back, you go into this cervical curve. The strongest position for that actual neck to be in is in an actual cervical curve, right? This motion. Strength of a straight line is derived by number of curves squared plus 1. Curves give us strength and stability. Okay? Curves give us strength and stability. Meaning, when there's impact to this structure, okay, your whole cervical spine is going to absorb that shock versus one or two segments. Okay? So the whole neck is going to absorb this shock. When your head goes forward, that's not going to happen, right? Now you're going to create intersegmental impacts. Okay, it's going to break. It's not going to disperse it evenly across because it doesn't have the mechanical curve and functionality, okay, of that actual structure to dissipate. As soon as your head goes forward, now these guys are they're basically playing for themselves. They're not playing as a team. And as a result, that structure doesn't have the strength and stability. Hence, that's your weakest place to be in. Okay? So he goes into these boards. Again, if his head's back and he goes into the boards, a lot more, number one, it's a lot more controlled. Number two, a hell of a lot more safer, right? Going into those boards. Whether it be the boards, whether it be the ice, whether he gets caught up with 2 or 3 guys checking him into the boards, regardless. This head's got to go back to keep the continuity of the curve, to keep the structural integrity, and last but not least, and most importantly, is the neurological component. Right? And this neurological component of this neck is sensory inputs. Okay? Curves. We want to maintain the curves whenever impact is inevitable. All right, control. Head back in a curve. You're in control. Out of control, right? As this situation dictated, blindsided from the side, head goes into whipping motion. Head goes into a whipping motion. This neurology in this neck is compromised. Okay? What the biggest response of that whipping motion going in is headaches and migraine headaches. Most common, 2/3 of board injuries results in headaches. In actuality, this individual had a headache after you got hit. Okay? Secondary neuropathy. Okay? Numbness, tingling in your fingertips. Neuropathy in the facial features, right? Numbness in the cheeks or spasms in this masseter muscle or buccinator muscles. So neuropathy is real common. Numbness, burning sensations in the fingers. Okay, shooters. You've heard shooters more common with football because it's more of a direct hit, right? So somebody puts their head down. It's a much more compressive irritation on this dura mater and on this actual cord itself, which causes that radiculopathy going out or that nerve message traveling out into the fingertips, into the hands, the numbness, the tingling, the burning sensation. Last but not least, because of the torque of this cord, it can actually result in low back irritation and sciatica down the legs. That's how connected this neurology is. Okay? So again, think of this neurology like a river, like a freeway, right? Communicating to every organ, muscle, and tissue and gland. Okay? Just as in a river, right? The flow of the water hits a rock, it's going to divert it. It's going to cause a different flow of the water. It's going to change the water. Same thing, right? These mechanical dysfunctions, these distortions in here, okay, from that trauma, right? Whether it be a whipping motion in this upper cervical, right? So when your head goes in the boards, you're torquing and turning this neck. So remember what we shared with you. This is C1, C2. Turns your head from one side to the other. Right? So that's why you can have so much motion in there. But remember, there's a suboccipital triangle in here of musculature, right? So when that head turns, it's going to crank that musculature and that tissue. Hence, it can micro tear. So you might get a lot of spasticity at the base of that neck, or even at the base of the shoulders. Ice is so important to make sure it calms it down, the decrease of swelling, the spasm, the irritation. So this is just one incident on the ice, okay, that thank God it wasn't serious, but it could have been. And again, we're here to educate you, the player, to assist you in making sure your career has a great longevity, right? A long longevity, a long timeline. Okay, we like to see each and every one of you get to pro sports. Most athletes don't make it because of what? Some injury shuts them down. We're trying to prevent those injuries. Okay, so we'd love to see you at Atlantic Chiropractic to get checked for any of these hyperextended injuries or hyperflexion injuries, any kind of neuropathy, numbness, tingling in your fingertips. Please call us. We'd love to give you a free consult. And you know what? We love doing these videos, but please give us a little love back and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Atlantic Chiropractic, our YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Happy St. Patrick's Day.